it's a pet peeve of mine when I like watch an interview or like a documentary on something, and it's clearly being made by somebody who like has a surface level knowledge of what they're documenting. But it's just like if I'm gonna make an interview or a documentary, I want it to feel like I know what I'm talking about, and that I'm coming from like a similar I'm coming from a place of understanding with ever who I'm like working with.
Okay. Hi, Monzer. Thanks for coming. You know,
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Kind of I just woke up, but
Yeah.
I'm getting up. I'm waking up.
Can we start with your where you started as a filmmaker? Because I know we've talked to you before. You graduated from UML, but you got another degree somewhere else first, right?
Uh, so I went to Mass Bay for communications before
Yeah.
I went to UMass Lowell. So I got my associate's degree in communication. But my start with filmmaking was like, so I started making YouTube videos when I was pretty little. I had a friend who was making like Lego stop motion stuff, and I had like an iPod Touch with a camera. So I would just make like stick figure animations on that using this app. And that was like the start of me trying to make anything video related, and that kind of evolved there. Um, so I was making like dumb skits with my friends for like since I was like 9 or something, like pretty little. And then in high school, I started working at a public access station doing like high school sports, town meetings, like local, some like cooking shows, talk show type stuff. Right,
Hmm.
just like standard public access affair.
Did you do any interviews there?
Yeah, I've shot a good amount of interviews. I've done there's like a couple different talk shows where they'll have people on. Um, I remember like one of the early ones was like we shot like a really short interview with this band, and then filmed them playing, which I think is kind of relevant to what we're doing now. But I haven't done that much of that type of stuff at the station. That was just like one kind of early shoot that I remember. They gave me a free CD.
Where did your appreciation for like interviewing and for like documentary come from? When did that develop?
Uh, hmm. I guess also in high school, I started making skate videos. I was really into, I mean, I still am, but like a big skateboarder. Me and my friends were making skate videos, which in like a way is a documentary. It's like a form of nonfiction, non-narrative filmmaking, I guess.
For sure. And I'm not.
Uh,
Can I ask about the skateboarding videos? Like, is it typical to like leave like fails and stuff in, or are they
so
trying to
they're
make it like
really,
awesome, like the best tricks? Like,
I mean, hmm. No, yeah, you put slams in. You put slams. You'll put basically whatever interesting footage you want to like include in there along with the actual tricks.
mm,
A lot of the most respected skate videos like Bigger 3 are well known for having a lot of hijinks and like slams and other weird stuff, like drunken debauchery actually in the video along with the skate clips. The skating's still incredible in that one. But yeah, you gotta you put slams and you gotta hook people in, get them
yeah.
entertained.
Where did the idea to make this documentary, Let's Build a Skate Park, come from? Is this your capstone for digital
Yeah, this was
media?
my capstone. I've been skating that park for years. Uh, the first time I saw it, it was like a completely different little DIY. So I guess I should explain if people haven't seen the documentary. A DIY skate park is like a a skate park that exists in like a legal gray zone. It's typically built on like public or abandoned land, and people just come there and like put down ramps, whether they're wooden or they build with concrete. So like a long time ago, there was some stuff there, then all of that got torn out, and it was just the banks around the side, the little ramps that like surrounded this old abandoned tennis court or volleyball court. I'm not exactly sure what it is. There's still like a basketball court there that's pretty beat up, but it functions. But I've been skating there for years, and then it got torn down, and we built a bunch of stuff, and they got torn down again, and then we built a bunch of other stuff. Uh, and I don't know, I thought it was interesting. It was like something neat that I had access to that I was deeply involved in. It felt like it was a like an easy first documentary of that style. But yeah, I think it's just like the thing that makes a good documentary is just having access to something interesting. And I think that was the most interesting thing going on in my life that I wasn't already trying to document.
Yeah. And you have great like access to like your interviewees. Like all your interviews, they're very open
Oh,
and
thank you.
free, where it doesn't feel very like rehearsed or you know what I mean? You get
Yeah,
a
okay.
sense of
So,
everyone very quickly.
well, those are all my friends. Like those are all people
I know, yeah,
that
but
I
that's
skate
that's
that
the
park
benefit
with.
of like documenting something that's so close to you, right? Is that you get these really good interviews.
Yeah. It's hmm. It's a pet peeve of mine when I like watch an interview or like a documentary on something, and it's clearly being made by somebody who like has a surface level knowledge of what they're documenting. One example that I always go back to, and I don't even want to like shit on this interview that much, but there's like this old, I think, Skull Candy interview with 100 gecs with the band 100 gecs. If anybody listening knows, I guess people will know who that is. But at some point in the interview, like they mention Nightcore, and the guy interviewing them gets really confused, and it's like I feel like you should have the guy interviewing that band in specific should know what Nightcore is going in, and maybe he was just like asking the question to get it explained for the audience because they were really starting to like almost get mainstream at that time. So I understand there's going to be people who aren't like web brained weirdos watching it. But it's just like if I'm going to make an interview or a documentary, I wanted to feel like I know what I'm talking about, and that I'm coming from like a similar. I'm coming from a place of understanding with ever who I'm like working with.
Yeah. And especially for a documentary where it's not like just the interview, it's like you guide the story in a way that makes sense to you, like know the whole ins and outs of it.
Yeah,
Like I really like the structure of this documentary a lot because it's like you withhold like the skate footage part until like the end, where that's like this reward for all the hard work that you see. You know,
yeah. There's like a couple little
yeah, there's
snippets in there,
little
but
bits, but then it's like it goes in at the end.
I had the edit at the very end. We were collecting footage for that for like the entire period. I was just saving clips.
How long were you filming this for?
Um, I mean, there's like old footage in there, but like a semester. It really wasn't that long.
Hmm. But you mean like old footage, like some footage you were just filming there on your own, like skateboarding
Yeah, I mean, I just
clips.
had like I kind of I have like always had like an archive of whatever skate footage I'm filming, and I would just happen to be skating there a lot even before I started working on the documentary. So I had footage from then, but it was mostly just like once that semester started, and I had like a semester to finish my capstone because I had started the capstone in a I think I was trying to do like a Boston skateboarding documentary, like a tour video, and
Like
um
multiple skate parks, or
yeah, it was supposed to be like a landmark thing where it's like, okay, here's Copley Fountain, here's why people skate here, here's like some historical significance, here's a couple clips, here's Eggs, aka I mean like Nashua Street Park, also known as eggs. Uh, Here's a little bit of history. Here's why people skated. Here's some clips. But I feel like that's, I don't know, it's stiffer. It's more clinical of a format than what I think I ended up doing.
Mm. When you're like filming, do you go in kind of with like a list of things you're trying to get, or do you more like gather all this resource and then in the editing process kind of carve out the story?
For this, I definitely came in with like an idea of what I was trying to get. I had questions lined up. I knew who I was going to ask each question. And honestly, I kind of, if I had done it again, I would have gotten more interviews. But I definitely had a plan for this one. I knew what I was doing, which is rare for me. Normally, I just kind of show up with a camera and like see where it takes me, which I think that's also good, but it's different. It's for like a different intention.
Yeah, like this, it feels guided in like a nice way, where it's like
It's
isn't.
guided in a way that most of my other filmmaking isn't, which I appreciate. It was a good learning experience. I got to take that for some of the next projects.
But even like beyond the interviews, there's like just some like candid stuff that's like really good. There was like one part early on where someone says, "Hey, they're turning this into a skate park," and then Kevin, as he's skating, he's like, "Yeah, you know what it is," and he keeps going. It's like I feel like that like captures like the essence of it very well. Where it's just like even
Yeah,
though all these obstacles, like we're just gonna keep going.
yeah. I think there's some good. I want to like show like people just hanging out there a little bit. I wanted it
Yeah,
to be like, hey, this is kind of like a cool congregation spot, which you hear. Um, you hear people like complaining about how there's no third spaces
hmm
anymore. Uh, that's like a big thing that you hear people complaining about online. And I think in the definition that people are talking about it in, I guess that would qualify as one. And I kind of wanted to show that and like this is a place where people get together. There's a community here, um, which is I don't know. I think that's important in. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I think it's just like I wanted to show
no,
the community
I yeah,
aspect
for
of it,
sure.
and like the where this is a place where people congregate and hang out and chill out.
Yeah. I think for some other documentaries, when they talk about like, oh, this community is so great, like you're saying earlier, of like interviewers that don't necessarily know what they're talking about, where it's like an outsider perspective. And it's like, imagine how
Yeah,
great this community would be. But like, you watch this, it's like, you kind of like feel it, you know? It's like you're having
I want
fun
you to feel like you're
with everyone.
there. You
Yeah.
know, I want you to feel like you're kind of there hanging out with us.
Even like when you guys are rebuilding stuff, it's like fun. Like you go to the store, and then you try to get the water. It's like this whole process.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the um. Yeah, like when Kevin's like we're in the woods trying to like
Yeah.
pull water out of that scummy little stream. That's the
Yeah.
Charles actually. Um, uh, we're like the sticky standing on brakes. It's like yeah, we're just none of us have any construction experience. We have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah.
Um,
You guys
I
lay
live
down that
further away
concrete
now,
well,
so I
though.
haven't, and it's been winter, so I haven't been to the park or built anything really like in a while. But none of us had any experience. We were just going to Home Depot, buying concrete, and like hoping we could smooth it out into a quarter pipe, like building barely functional little like ramp molds and stuff.
I was gonna say, does you like appear in the documentary at some points? Like we see you like clean up branches and we see you skate, but like, you're not necessarily a character in it. Was there an idea of like you being interviewed yourself for it?
I mean, I'm talking throughout the entire thing.
Yeah,
I, I,
narrate it, but
I
it's a semi like voice of God type of thing. There's not like a necessary connection between your narration and you in the documentary. You know?
yeah, they are pretty disconnected. I don't think there's anything that I would have said or had to say, like when making the documentary,
Mhm.
that would have added anything beyond like my narration. I just don't want to be the focus of it. Um, I'm not trying to have it be like a this is a documentary about me and my involvement in the skate park, even though like a lot of the footage is like me pushing logs around. I wanted the focus to be on the community that I'm a part of instead of like my specific involvement in it. Which maybe I could have had like interviews with myself and not given off that feel, but I don't know. I didn't want to feel like a character in it as much as a guide.
Mm. And you like show how you feel about the community by the way you film it and everything. Like your voice is
Yeah,
felt.
yeah, yeah. I wanted my take to be through that as opposed to like putting my face on camera. I feel like it would become a vlog at that point,
Yeah.
and I try to avoid making at least when I'm for that I was trying to avoid making it feel vloggy.
Yeah. The only moment that makes it feel almost that is when you guys go to Home Depot and stuff, but it's not. It's like so. It's just like a nice. I love that shit. I think it's on like an iPhone maybe, where like you zoom in. It's like let's
Yes,
go. It's like that's like great. But it's like just a
that is
brief
like yeah,
moment.
that was an iPhone clip. We had just gone into the Home Depot to
But
get
that like
the
really sells it.
concrete.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was like
Um.
I felt like I didn't even record that thinking it would go in the documentary. I was trying to annoy Kevin. Uh, I was like kind of pissed. I was like, I completely forgot to get footage of us buying concrete, and then I remembered I had that clip on my phone.
Yeah. That's good. How was the like the whole editing process for you?
I love video editing. It's like
Yeah.
kind of it's part of my favorite. I don't know if it's my favorite part of the process, but it's a process that I like. Um, Especially when I was working on that and projects like that. I get into like a flow state and just kind of go. But I had come into it with like how I wanted things ordered pretty early on. Um, so I think it kind of all stitched together pretty well. I just had to keep going back to get like B-roll because I didn't film enough B-roll. I would get clips, I would get the interviews, and then I get like a little bit of B-roll, but I needed more just like random shots. So I remember halfway through the editing process, I had to go and film more. And then I was editing while I was filming a little bit too. I was like just kind of chop when I would record an interview, I'd chop it up and get the audio from the Zoom recorder synced up with the footage and cut out like the front and the back. So it was like editing happening during the filming process. But I don't know. I think I kind of lost in this question. The editing was fine. I don't really remember any big roadblocks.
No, you answer. I was just wondering, like you're saying, of like going back and getting footage while you're editing,
Yeah,
like the
I did
edit
have
kind
to
of
like.
guiding what you need.
Luckily, I lived like 20 minutes from the place when I
Yeah,
was shooting it, so it was like, oh shoot, I'm in the middle of editing and I don't have a clip of this green curb or like this ramp. I guess I gotta go like take a quick trip over there. It was never I was able to it was conveniently placed where like I didn't have to get all my footage in a certain amount of time. It's not like I was
yeah.
doing a documentary on like a park in Africa or something where I had to get on a plane.
Um, you interview a lot of musicians. Not to skip ahead, like what was the what was the process of choosing the music, the score, like for your film?
So all the music, if I shoot, so like I don't even remember what the music what the music was in that. I should have rewatched it before we did this interview. Um, I know the last song is a DJ Roswell song, um, which I picked that one because that's the homie.
Yeah,
Uh, those are some long time. DJ Roswell was only like the first people with any kind of an audience to reach out to Bughead. So I was pretty. Just want to get like the homies music in there.
hmm
When I make stuff, I also I can't use copyrighted music because that's against the law. I
Yeah.
don't want to like use YouTube um, just like royalty free music, and I also don't want to pay for a license because I don't have any money.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like the only option that allows is like, okay, I know so many independent musicians, I'll just use their shit because they're gonna of course they're gonna say yes, that's my friend.
Yeah. Because most like the typical like skateboarding video itself uses like copyrighted music, right? Just on YouTube or
Uh,
no?
y- yeah, they for the most part like skate videos just nowadays they just get put on online um with whatever music 'cause it's like every social media website has some kind of licensing agreement where it's just like you post a YouTube video with a copyrighted song in it, and as long as it's a company that has a deal with YouTube, they just collect the ad revenue. So nobody makes ad revenue off any of these skate videos. They're just marketing. Uh, and then back in the day, they used to actually pay for the licenses or something like that. Um, but I don't know. I want the when I make a skate video, I want to like be able to put it on DVD or something. If it like or just I don't want to like make a video and then in 15 years have weird licensing issues with it.
Yeah, for sure. But it doesn't feel like it's forced. Like it matches the energy really well.
Oh no, I wouldn't. I take that pretty seriously. I wouldn't use my friends. I wouldn't just like use music because it's my friends. I use music because it's. I use my friends' music because it fits and it works for like the copyright stuff.
Hmm.
I might be talking out of my ass about the copyright stuff. I'm not exact. I'm not like 100%
Sounds
sure how it
right.
works. I'm not a law student, but you know,
Yeah.
I just I try to avoid any conflict like that.
Yeah, that's fair. Can we talk about Buckhead Media?
Of course.
How's that going? You've been doing that for a while.
So how long has it been going for? Like almost 3 years now, maybe. I don't know. Um, so like Bughead started. I I've been going to shows for a while, like hardcore shows, um, and making skate videos, and I kind of wanted I there was a couple attempts beforehand to make some kind of like brand around those things that didn't go anywhere, and this is the first one that's stuck. Uh, so for those who are listening, you don't know what it is. It's I make it's mostly interviews, some concert videos, some music videos, and soon to be a lot of other shit outside of all that skate videos. Um, you can go to bughead.org or Bughead Media, Bughead underscore media on Instagram, or just Bughead Media on YouTube to find it. It's all my like current video stuff, which is almost like a big documentary project of a lot of mostly northeastern American subculture stuff. But right now it's going amazing. Last week we had a premiere for this film that I was the producer and edited called Stillness Spreads. It's like a independent found footage movie by my good friend Mark Ray Jr. and a bunch of other people. We that movie I'm just keep an eye out for that one. It's not I hmm. Sorry, I need to get my words together on how to explain it. There's too much to say. So we had that premiere last week, and then the week before that, we threw a show with a bunch of artists that I know um, in Worcester, and both of those we had some pretty great turnouts. So like Bughead's going great. We're getting people in person to see some like weird electronic music play. We're getting people in like the we packed out the bar that we did the screening for that found footage movie. Um, I got a podcast episode coming out soon with like this dude Byron Vaughn who does the the documentary series on YouTube, Looking Awry, um, which is really good. You guys should check that show out. But like, I don't know, it was slow for a bit, but we got some cool stuff coming. I got a photo zine out. Go to bughead.org to buy that. Overall, it's going good. It's uh it's changing at the moment. I think we're kind of I've been focused on like in-person events and like physical media more so than I have been the the rest of it. But I got ideas. I hope that answers the question. I kind of went long-winded and like all over the place with it.
No, that was a good breakdown of Buckhead. You have a lot of stuff going on, dude. Um, but can you talk about your experience like producing and editing Stillness Spread? How's that?
So like, okay, so I got brought on pretty late in the process. The it wasn't really a movie at first. This was like an ARG, an alternate reality game that was being run through the Upside Records website and like a couple other places. So like UpsideRecords.net, it's a record label for a lot of metal and experimental music out of Worcester. They put out like CDs, T-shirts, and they got their website where you can buy all that stuff on. But there's also a bunch of sigils and hidden pages. So if you click around, you'll start finding these puzzles on the website, and clicking on these puzzles leads you to these videos and these blogs that start to kind of tell a story of like a cult and like a somebody who went missing for a while, and all the footage posted is like footage they found on their hard drives or on tapes or on their phone once they were like let out of an institution after having been missing for a while. And all of this is kind of half explained in the movie. The movie is just a super cut of all the footage, um, along with this kind of climax ending that I shot. The first thing I did in the project was shoot the end of the movie, and this was before I had seen most of the footage. But then I was the only person working on it with any previous like media industry knowledge or experience, so they gave me the producer role, and I got the film edited, finished, and we're working on submitting it to festivals now.
Okay, cool.
Might try and get it on Tubi.
That'd be awesome. I love Tubi.
Shout
Um,
out Tubi.
how's it editing like a found footage thing? It's something that you hopped onto. Is that hard? Or you said you love editing, but do you love editing a project that's like unfamiliar to you?
Yeah, no, editing this was it was different, but it wasn't that crazy. It was like there's no complex editing for most of it. It's kind of just like taking the footage from the website. There was a lot of adding subtitles. There's these long phone calls that I had to add subtitles to, and that took forever, and that was a little tedious. But other than that, it was pretty simple. It's the whole thing's edited pretty simply, and then the end did take us a while. There were some learning steps for it. We use this glitch effect a lot, where it's like the camera, the footage is bugging out, and we use this program that we bought that like corrupts the footage. It's for data moshing. I think it's called like Data Mosher Pro or something. It like corrupts the footage on the frame you want, and then fixes the file, so you just have like a video with this really natural glitchiness to it. We'd use that to like cover cuts, or like the idea is that when the paranormal presence is in the room or around, sometimes it'll bug out. And that took us forever because we'd like corrupt the footage. We didn't like how the corruption looks, and so we'd have to redo it over and over and over again. And it takes like a couple minutes to not a couple minutes, but it takes like a good like it's gonna process every time. So we were spending like 30 minutes on each little bug, just trying to get it perfect, trying to get one that like the corrupted audio sounds right. Uh, but honestly, it was fun because I was like a a joint process. I was hanging out with Mark and editing that throughout the. We were both kind of like hanging out while we were doing the editing process. It didn't feel like a chore or really a job of any kind.
Um, do you have any advice for like young, does this for like the student film festival? Do you have any advice for like student filmmakers or young creatives?
Just start making stuff and putting it out. Obviously, like try your best to make it good. I'm not just saying like make bullshit and release it, but like don't get too caught up in your own perfectionism. Just start getting stuff out, and you'll start. Uh, you're not going to make progress until you start putting stuff out and having people see it. People got to see your work, and like you got to figure out what works and what doesn't by just starting to make stuff and put it out. Uh, which is like an anxious process, but it's essential to like becoming a better filmmaker. And then don't set your sights too high. I know that sounds like work within your means when you're just starting out. If you don't have the budget to do like the sci-fi epic that you want to do, um, try and make a movie about like a guy who doesn't leave his room. I don't know. I don't like I how do I formulate that advice better? You got to start making stuff, and you got to start making stuff like good within your realm of scope. So you might have like the dream project you've wanted to make since you were a little kid. But if it's not within the scope of what you can do right now, you gotta make a new project that you can do right now, and just start making, because that's how you get to the point where you can make the stuff you really want to. And I haven't even gotten to that point. So maybe I'm talking bullshit, but like that's how it felt to me. Is like I don't have the budget for a green screen room and Marvel effects, so I'm gonna make a movie out of iPhone footage with my friends about like a cult in the woods.
How was screening Let's Build a Skate Park at both Capstone and LFF? Was that a good experience for
Okay,
you?
so the screening at the Capstone, there was a rainstorm
Yeah.
that prevented anybody except for my parents and like fellow classmates from showing up. Uh, that was like an empty screening, but it was good. People liked it.
Hmm.
And then I was not at the I think I do. Did I have to work? There was some reason I didn't go to the actual UMass Lowell Film Festival in person, and I regret not showing up. Um, but I was in there. I had a movie that was screened.
Yeah. It played
People
well.
like it, so apparently it was good.
Yeah. And I know I don't want to go against your advice just now of like setting your sights to where you're at and doing what you're doing, but do you have any plans to do like beyond interviews, like a documentary about like a subject in the future? Is that like something you'd be interested in doing?
Yeah, okay. So I don't want to like I don't know when this is gonna if or when this is gonna come out, but I've had like a documentary in planning on the Northeast American noise music scene, um, which is like an area that I'm pretty involved with. Uh, just like the real like out there non-traditional sound art type stuff that you see at a lot of these. The show we threw earlier in February was at this spot called the Firehouse in Worcester, which is a community art space. Um, and they throw a lot of these shows where it's like real avant-garde, uh, out there music that like breaks all the rules. And I think we live like in a very good area for that. The American Northeast has a strong noise scene, and it always has. And I don't think there's a recent documentary that shows it off that well. So I've been wanting to make that, but I also have like some more narrative film stuff that I want to do. We just finished that Still in the Spreads and like the concert. So I'm kind of just like in a place of like, well, I got to pick the next big project. I got to figure out what it's going to be.
Mhm.
I finally like don't have anything large to do, but and then I'm doing some non. I'm like a full time. I do video production full time. I still work in public access, and then I'm working on launching this like this YouTube channel and social media presence for a like a real estate broker. So I got some Boston food tour content coming very soon. If people want to see some restaurant reviews that I made, I am not on camera. I am entirely behind the scenes, but I did make them. They are my work. So
Awesome.
there's some stuff that's not just interviews that I'm thinking of or currently working on. And then we got I should put out a photo zine of concert footage that's kind of documentarian in a different sense that you can buy on bughead.org for $12 for the physical or $3 for the digital. So everybody check that out, please. I need the money.
And this might be in too deep. You don't have to answer this, but is there anything that's happened to Rumspringa?
Oh, the fucking Rumspringers movie? No,
Yeah.
okay. So like I never had like any intention of making that a real.
You don't have to talk about that, but I just
The
really
fucking
like
no,
that
I'll
story.
talk about it. I don't
Can you
care.
can you explain
So
the
people
premise?
for the premise was I for we had to take a screenwriting class at the UMass Lowell for UMass Lowell digital media to graduate, and um, the script I wrote was about these two this guy this Amish kid who goes out on Rumspringa and
And
he
what
just
is
like
Rumspringa?
Rumspringa is the Amish tradition of when you're like 16, you go out into the world and you decide if you want to be Amish or not. Is kind of what it is. So like you're allowed to. It's different from community to community, but you can kind of get a taste of the outside or the English world as they refer to it as. Um, and my idea was that, like this guy goes to like he just leaves the village for on Rumspringa, uh, and like runs into these two fucking crusty fucking dumbass teenagers who steal their dad's car and they all go on like a road trip while being hunted down by the dad that they stole the car from. um, and it was supposed to just be like a dumb hijinks movie. And I remember the professor, which I don't want to like say anything bad because I know he's like worked on actual movies, so he definitely knows more about screenwriting. But I don't think he got the vision at all. I don't think
Hmm.
he under this was supposed to be like some Harold and Kumar shit. It was not supposed to be a a like heartwarming like
But
he kept
their
trying to
end
add
goal
like
is
this
to
like
go to a show.
seriousness to it that I did not have in there. This was really supposed to be like about as serious as super bad, you know,
Yeah.
at
But
most.
because their end goal is to get to a concert, right?
Yeah, they were trying to go to like the last fucking show for some band. I forget what I picked. Um, but yeah, no, I maybe that'll become something. I don't know. I feel like the spirit of it is still alive somewhere in me. So we might see Rumspringers one day.
I was just say I really like the idea when I heard it in class. I feel like now, like looking more into what you do, it's like, oh, this feels very like of your voice. It
Yeah,
feels like it would
people
be,
loved it. People really
yeah,
liked that script idea. It's still I still have it. I still
because
have
it's like
like the little bit that I
specific.
worked on. Yeah. You ever seen the movie Off Ramp?
I've not.
I mean, you should watch the movie Off Ramp. That's kind of I think that's what I was. Maybe that's a little more has its more serious moments, but I think that's what I was going for. That's a movie about like juggalos road tripping to the gathering. It's like a weird independent movie. It's not a documentary. It's like fictional,
Yeah.
but it's this like kind of really fucked up road trip movie. And those are some of my favorite. I love road trip movies.
Awesome. That's kind of all I have. I don't know what else to talk about, you know, but it's been nice to talk to you.
Good to talk to you too, dude. Thanks for having me. I hope I didn't curse too much. I kind of realized that like halfway through.
I think it's fine. That's your voice, you know. Don't
Thank
censor
you, thank
yourself.
you.
We're trying to get some different filmmakers' visions. That's your vision, brother.
I did grow up in Massachusetts. I got it's
Yeah,
the
dude.
culture here.
That's how it is. You wouldn't make this documentary if it wasn't that way, you know. It's very
Oh yeah.
Massachusetts. I
Oh,
love it
thank
for it.
you. I'm glad that's what people get out of it.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
great.
Massachusetts.
But
Um,
okay, thanks for coming on, Monzer. Any
of
check out
course.
Bughead Media, everyone. Check out the zine.
Bughead.org. Buy the
Mhm.
zine or don't. I'm not forcing you to. Watch the
Yeah,
movie
if you
when
like
it's out
zines, yeah,
somewhere. Watch the videos. We got that interview coming out soon with Byron Vaughn and Looking Awry. And keep an eye out for shows. We're going to be throwing more parties and more concerts. Those are always a blast. So
hmm
keep an eye out for those. And that's
okay.
it. I had to get a plug in real quick. Sorry.
No, it's fair. Okay, thanks, Monzer.
All right. Talk to you later.
Okay,
See you later,
see ya.
Matt.
Bye.
Bye.